Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another light novel review. Now today we are going to be reviewing Juni Taisen, Zodiac War. This is written by Nisioisin of Monogatari fame, and it's illustrated by Hikaru Nakamura, which is apparently someone that's very well known. I haven't seen any art by her, but it's actually really nice. So there you go. Okay, this is published by Viz, which is interesting. This is the only Viz Media light novel that I own. I know that basically they only do light novels for the big three. And that's cool, but I really wish they would do the Black Clover ones. I think they just announced a couple weeks ago that they were going to do Full Metal Alchemist light novels, but I'm not really interested on that, so whatever. But yeah, I really wish they did Black Clover. But let's just move on with the story. So the demographic here is seinen. I think this is based on the manga, so there you go. And the genres here are action, thriller, and I guess battle royale, if battle royale is a genre. But I'm not really sure. And adaptations-wise, this has both a manga, which you can read on the Shonen Jump app, I think, and an anime, which has 12 episodes. I don't know anything about it, though. I just know that it has one. So if anyone has watched it, let me know if it's good down in the comments. But yeah, the premise here is basically that there's 12 warriors that have been assembled and that are usually assembled every 12 years because the Zodiac has 12 characters on it. And this year is a Zodiac War, and they have been gathered to fight in said Zodiac War and be granted a wish as long as it's within the power of the organization. And there's a whole lot more stuff to it that goes on in the background that you learn throughout the book, so I won't really mention it. But it is pretty interesting. The premise is pretty cool. And yeah, I mean, let's just jump into it. So the plotline here is pretty interesting, and it's really the only way I can really describe it. Like, the whole premise and the idea and the execution of everything here is interesting, but it wasn't like super amazing by any means. Not that I was expecting anything super amazing, but like, I don't know, it was just pretty like middle of the road. I liked it quite a bit, but it's not something that I would immediately reread, or that really makes me want to read more about the same topic. So yeah. Now, like I was saying, the way the plot line is structured is super interesting, because it's like, okay, we have 12 characters and we have this big thing happening. How do we make it understandable and relatable in a way that you can understand? Well, we won't. That's basically what Nisioisin has said. He's like, no, we're not going to really want you to relate to one specific character, because it's basically like the Hunger Games, and that's really boring. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do 12 different 12 different shorter plots within the same overarching, Zodiac War, and you're going to follow one character throughout each one of those little plots, which are basically the battles as you read through the book. And it's actually really interesting. It's really cool because you could read each one as its own little separate story, and it would actually probably end up being a lot more enjoyable that way, instead of like thinking about it in an overarching kind of cycle. But yeah, I just really like that because it's very interesting. It allows you to see so many different characters from so many different viewpoints. And it's just very interesting because you end up thinking like, hey man, these all sucked. Like, there was no one that really deserved it, and no one that really was like gonna use their wish for anything useful or good. But you still kind of like liked each of them to an extent, which was really cool. I really did like how that worked. But again, like, the story wasn't so deep and so amazing that I really was like, oh my god, this is so cool. But yeah, and I really enjoy the way that it all works, because yeah, sometimes it's like straightforward battles, but sometimes it's like really sneaky, thought-provoking ways of, killing other people. So it's really cool. And overall, I really did enjoy the plotline. It's just kind of like, I don't know, I was expecting something a little bit different than what I got, and what I got was pretty cool, but it wasn't like it didn't blow my socks off by any means. But in general, pretty awesome stuff, and like overall. Now, the characters here is probably the best part. Like I said, none of them are amazing. None of them are good people. But it's just that you see so many of them, and each one of them has like something that allows you to connect with them and kind of understand. You know, either one of them is a stoic warrior, one of them is a woman that is so over with her life that she basically drinks to forget. There's one that is like someone that's super idealistic, and one that's just a kid that's tired all the time. And then one that's old and he's just like done with life and he has no clue what he's going to do, but he has to try his best because he wants to go see his family again. We have another one that is like crazy, like batshit insane. And we have a few that really just like are middle of the road people, but like they have to do what they have to do, and so they're here. And it's really cool. Everyone has their own little backstory and everyone has their own kind of thing. The only thing that really like bored me or that I didn't really like was the fact that they were all Japanese. Like, yeah, I get it. It's a Japanese person that made a Japanese novel in Japan. I understand why they're all Japanese. It's just like, you have this thing called the Zodiac War, and it's like this whole world-encompassing thing. And it's supposed to be like all of these warriors represent the best of the world. So why are they all Japanese? Like, that wouldn't really make sense, right? Especially when so many of them were like clearly inspired by other countries. Like the warrior of the bull is literally a matador, like a bull killer, right? Like those people that like do the thing with the red cape and the bull runs at them and they like stab it with a sword. Yeah, like one of the characters is literally that. So why couldn't he just been Spaniard? Like, why did it have to be Japanese? It's a very like dumb nitpicky thing, but I just would have liked it because it would have added a little bit more depth to each of them, because, you know, you could have explored their cultures and how like their cultures affect their thoughts and stuff like that. So I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I just thought it would have been cooler that way. But in general, characters were really solid. I really did like most of them. Like the rabbit guy was fucking insane. I did not like him as a character, but he was very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying that because it's really the best way to describe it. It's just really interesting. World building wise, minimal, not meaningful, minimal, but pretty alluring. Like everything that was mentioned, especially about how the Zodiac War affects the world, was very, very like, I don't know, not eye-opening, but like, I don't want to say interesting again, but that's what it was. Like, it was just like, oh, that's super cool. That's like crazy. How did you make that like thing happen? That's really awesome. And yeah, and there was also this like stuff that wasn't really explained, and it's that like most of these characters have some sort of supernatural ability, and it's like, how? Why? But like, it was cool. Like, I really did enjoy it. It was just really interesting how everything kind of works. And like I said, the world building was minimal but alluring. There was something about it that was like, oh, cool, you know? Art-wise, was pretty good. I did like it a lot, but I would have liked the art to be a more like, I don't know, like that it depicted scenes instead of just like a visual of a character, right? So like, let me explain what I mean. So at the beginning of each section, you get a visual, right? You get this with a character in it. And it kind of gives you the character phrase or like their dream or something. And I like that, but I would have liked it if they were like mid-battle and if they were in a scene, they were showing off their powers. Instead of just like sitting there statically, especially when that's what the cover is. Like the cover just shows you all of their pictures from the inside. So a little bit of a missed opportunity there with the art, but the art does look really pretty and beautiful, and I really did enjoy it. Just would have liked a little bit more, you know? Fan service wise, really there's none, because there was really no time for fan service. Like there was nothing there where you could have done anything because the whole thing happened in like a day. So how do you do that, right? And yeah, rating wise, this is a solid 3 out of 5. There was nothing bad. It was just kind of like middle of the road. This is definitely a book that I think will get better the more I read it. Not because the thriller aspect will be there anymore, but because I'll be able to pick up on a lot more things about each character that maybe the first time around I didn't really catch because I was so busy on trying to get through the end of the story, right? So I think this is definitely a kind of like buy, read, and then come back and visit later, just so you can enjoy and pick up on more stuff later on. But I don't know. A lot of people might not read like that. So this one might be a buy and then sell immediately after you read kind of story for a lot of people. And if it is, I mean, that's totally fair. But for me personally, this is one that I want to revisit later to kind of figure out how I feel about it much, more concretely. But yeah, do I recommend this? Yeah, it's a good one. Maybe it's not worth $20, $19 according to the cover price, but it's a pretty good one. I did enjoy it, and I definitely want to give it more than one read, so it's good in that sense, but this one's probably definitely more of a buy when it's used or buy when there's a sale type of book, right? So, yeah. And yeah, I don't really have any similar titles, like whatever Battle Royale novel or manga you like would probably be similar to this. But Nisioisin just has a very specific style that not anyone else has, right? So, it's kind of tough to find other things that are similar, right? But yeah, that's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And see you guys later.